What's happening, fam? Another edition of Sinista Productions, and today we're going to be installing some LED lights for the front and rear from a company called Murat-Rc in Poland. Got these off of eBay, and I got these recommended to me by a fellow YouTuber and IG individual. I'll put their information up soon, and we're going to be installing those on the KRATON. So before we move into that, you know what we got to do? As always, roll that intro footage.
Sinista Productions. Sinista Productions.
All right, as always, fam, thanks again for coming back. Appreciate you sticking with Sinista Productions. Let's take a look and see what's on the inside for these LED lights for the KRATON. All right, popping the box open, we'll see right off the bat that we get a set of LED lights already pre-wired, and I believe these are for the front of the KRATON, made out of feels like a very flexible, this is probably TPU, 3D printed housing. We have 3 LED lights on each side. Everything is already pre-wired, and it has some wire loom, shrink tubing, and an existing connection point for the kit. You get all of your mounting hardware required in a little bag here. We got some little button head hex screws here. Not sure, these are probably 2.5 maybe. Should be a simple install. In addition, we also have the rear LED tail lamp. These are going to be in red, and these have 5 LEDs. Again, this feels more like an ABS for the rear. Everything's pre-wired, wire loom, shrink tubing, plus your connection point. And then for your connection points, we have a harness here, which you can connect the front and the rear LEDs up to your existing receiver. You get all your, provides zip ties as well. So you can zip tie all your wiring to make everything nice and neat. You can't beat it. So this should be a real cool install, and I want to give a thanks to my fellow YouTuber and Instagram cat. This is Ali Keto 1981. I'll pop his information up. If you haven't visited his page yet on Instagram or YouTube, I'll pop his information up. But again, we're going to be installing these LEDs from Murat-Rc, cat over in Poland. Thanks for this kit. Seems very high quality. We're going to put this on the KRATON and see what it looks like. So let's move over to the bench, quit all this talking, start installing. Peace. All right, fam, what's happening? This is actually day 2 of this Arrma KRATON LED light install. And the reason why is I had to figure out the best way to mount these LED lights to the front. The rear is simple, mounts up to the back of the KRATON EXB 8S, no problem. But for the front, the problem lies within the front bumper on the EXB 1/5 KRATON. All right, now as I'm going to overlay, you'll see that with this bumper on, adding these lights to the front shock tower mount area, so to speak, it's not going to show beyond the front of the bumper. So in order to make this work, we're going to have to do some modifications. And the good thing is the modifications are pretty simple, and you have less modifications to do to the vehicle than you actually have to do to the LED lights right here. So thanks to an individual I found on YouTube, I'll link up their information now so you can see where I got this idea from. We're going to have to take these LED lights, and you know, they're made of a flexible, like I said the other day, 3D printed material. Cut those in half. Cut them down a little bit smaller along the arms here, and then we're going to mount those to the rear of the front portion of this bumper with some fasteners. So they're going to mount back here, screw them in so that we have lights sitting up on either side here facing forward, and then we're going to have to extend our wire harness a little bit, which is simple. But what we're going to do now is the next few parts of this video are going to be of me, cutting this and down to size, marking out the areas where I want to put it on this front bumper, fixing up the wiring harness, lengthening the wires a bit so we can, make sure we have enough wire between both lights. And then we're going to hook up the rear light, make the extension lead off of the ESC for power, and we'll be done. So all in all, it's not that hard, but you do have to remove this front bumper from the 8S 1/5 KRATON EXB. It's only 4 screws, 4 bolts, comes right off, super simple. Mount it up to this. And again, thanks to the individual on YouTube that I found. I forgot their page name right now, but I have linked that information up so you can see where I got this idea from. It's not all totally mine, and I do like giving credit where credit is due. So again, we're going to cut these in half, cut down the wiring as far back as we can so we have enough wire coming off the LEDs, and then mount this to the bumper with some fasteners, put everything back together, and then light this joker up. Finished product, I have the lights mounted up so I know exactly how much extra wire I need. Let me turn around to the front so you can see how they're going to sit on the front of the bumper. Pretty sleek. Looks like it's almost integrated from the factory, even though it's not. What I used to secure these 2 lights, I used 4 M2 8mm fasteners, and on each of the 4 fasteners I used 4, let me get that back in focus, come on, focus man. I used 4 M2 flat washers so that I didn't go all the way through the front. Now there are 2 on each light. There are 2 small holes, very imperceptible to the eye until you get right up on it. You probably can catch it a little bit in the video, but I used the washers so that I could take up some of the space of those 8mm fasteners since I didn't have anything any shorter. So I got the 8s on there. Everything's mounted up real nice. The next step of what I'm going to do is extend these wires here so that they meet up with this wiring harness. So it's not going to be that much wire, but I'm going to solder and shrink tube wrap those harnesses, wires to the harness. And then we're going to go ahead and run this wiring back to the KRATON, install the rear lamp. Sorry, I'm out of focus again. There we go. Install the rear lamp and we'll be done. So as you can see, it's minimal modification, and with this little, I'm going to call it a crash guard. I don't know what the technical term is, but even with the little crash guard bumper on, you can see that everything now fits up nice and neat. Looks pretty clean. All right, so let's move on to the next step. I'm going to solder these up. I will not do those on camera because if you know how to solder, I'm not going to bore you with that. We'll get everything mounted back up, close this video out. All right, peace. Let's move on. All right, fam, we're at the rear of the KRATON. We're going to install the rear LED tail lamp section, which will be all red LEDs. And this install is very simple. No modifications that you have to do outside of swapping out some of the fastening hardware. And we're just going to remove 4 fasteners. Here, 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 and here. And that's going to correspond to these 4 holes here on the bracket, which you have one here, 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 and then one up top. And then we'll have the rear lights installed right here over the existing Arrma bracket. Piece of cake, 4 fasteners, and done. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, come back, show you the finished product, and then we'll wrap this joint up. All right, fam, we've come to the end of another one. We got the LED lights installed on the 1/5 KRATON EXB 8S version. And let me tell you something, the lights look really nice. I haven't had any night shots yet, been too busy to get out and shoot anything at night, but I want to say that this kit from Murat-Rc is a high quality kit. The bracket is made out of great material. I believe this is either PETG or TPU 3D printed material. And if you have a regular grade 8S Kraton, not one of the 1/5 scale EXB Kratons, but one of the regular 5th scale Kratons, you should be able to install this with the bracket without having to do any cutting. But the cutting you have to do for the EXB version of the 1/5 scale Kraton is very, very simple. Just slice both of the LEDs off of either side of the bracket, do a little bit of trimming, find the point on the bumper, and please remove the bumper first. It'll make the install that much easier. Find the spot on the bumper where you want to install it. Use whatever fasteners you want. Pop them in. Extend your wiring harness a bit for the front only. Boom, bada bing, you're done. The rear, super simple. Mates up to the standard mounting points on the Kraton. Use the supplied fasteners that come with the kit and you're good to go. Super simple. Wire it up, power it up however you want. I have mine running off of the receiver. I have a free channel on there, so I got it plugged into channel 4. Gets enough power to both lights, no problems. Hey, high quality piece. Don't know how it's going to stand up under any heavy bashing, something I don't do. I don't bash hard, but bottom line, these LED lights for the 1/5 Kraton from Murat-Rc. You can find this cat on eBay. Remember, if you do order from him directly from eBay, these come direct from Poland, so it's going to take a while to get to you. So plan ahead and plan accordingly if you want to set for yourself. So I'll go ahead and end this video, do some parting shots of the Kraton with the lights, show some more of the install. Appreciate you hanging with us. Appreciate you rocking with Sinista Productions. And I'm going to part. Be you, do you, and stay true. And as always, I am Jay of Sinista Productions, exiting stage left.
Sinista Productions. Sinista Productions. Sinista Productions.